A young woman in a fitted green dress hurried toward them, breathing fast. She was followed by another older woman who looked like she had been crying and fighting at the same time. The young woman stopped in front of Justina. "Please, sorry, I don't mean to disturb you. Where did you buy that fabric?" Justina looked down. The midnight blue fabric with tiny gold calabash patterns was folded over her arm. "This one?" "Yes," the young woman said. "Please, I need it. My traditional wedding is tomorrow. The fabric we ordered from Dubai came wrong. Wrong color, wrong pattern, everything. My mother-in-law has already started saying my family is careless."
The older woman threw her hands up. "Careless? May God judge her mouth. Since morning, she has called me 7 times. 7! As if I am the one that sold nonsense abroad." Anne's eyes widened. She slowly turned to Justina. "The bride," she mouthed. Justina's heart began to pound. Mama Sade's words returned. "By tomorrow morning, a woman will call you a bride. She will need emergency fabric. People will disappoint her. Her mother will cry. Her in-laws will insult her. She will be desperate." It was happening already. The baby whispered.
"Do not sell the blue one."
Justina held the fabric closer. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "This particular one is not for sale." The bride's face fell. "Please, I can't pay. Name your price." Anne's mouth opened, but Justina stepped on her foot lightly. Anne made a sound like a wounded goat. Justina continued. "I have other fabrics, old but special. Maybe one may work." The young woman looked doubtful at first, but desperation is a strong customer. Anne opened one nylon bag and carefully brought out a deep burgundy fabric with small gold and cream patterns shaped like vines and tiny suns.
The bride gasped. Her mother grabbed her arm. "Chinwe, this one is better than the Dubai one." Chinwe touched the fabric. "It is beautiful." Anne blinked at it. It was not this beautiful 5 minutes ago. Justina noticed it too. In Mama Sade's store, the fabrics had looked faded and dusty. Now, under the sunlight, the burgundy material seemed richer, almost royal. The patterns shimmered softly, not loudly like cheap glitter, but like something expensive that did not need to shout. Chinwe looked at Justina. "How many yards?" Justina checked. 6 yards. "How much?" Justina froze. She had no idea what to say. Anne leaned toward her and whispered, "Don't disgrace our empire. Price with chest." Justina swallowed. The baby whispered,
250,000.
Justina almost coughed. Anne saw her face. "What?" Justina whispered. "She said 250,000. Anne's eyes nearly jumped out. "For one cloth? Princess wants EFCC to visit us." Chinwe mistook their whispering for negotiation. "Please, I know it may be expensive. My budget is 300,000. But if you can help me." Anne immediately stood straight. 280,000. Justina turned sharply. "Anne!"
Anne smiled at Chinwe. "My friend is shy. I am her sales department." Chinwe looked at her mother. Her mother nodded quickly. "Pay, before another bride appears from nowhere." Within minutes, the transfer entered Justina's account. 280,000 naira. Justina stared at the alert. Her first sale. From rejected wife to businesswoman in one market lane. Anne raised both hands. "Empire has started.
Somebody should bring ribbon. We are opening headquarters on WhatsApp. The bride's mother held the fabric to her chest. My daughter, may God bless you. You don't know what you have done for us. Justina smiled softly. Congratulations on your wedding. Chinwe's eyes moved to Justina's belly. Your baby will bring you joy. Justina's throat tightened. She already has. The bride and her mother left, both smiling with relief. Anne watched them disappear into the crowd, then slowly turned to Justina. My friend, she said, we bought all those fabrics for 50,000 naira. I know. We just sold one for 280,000 naira. I know. Anne placed one hand on her chest. If I faint, don't pour water. Just whisper profit into my ear. Justina laughed.
This time, her laughter had less pain inside. They left the market with the remaining fabrics, the carved box, and a new kind of energy. By the time they got back to Anne's apartment, Justina's phone was full of missed calls. Emeka, unknown numbers, Lady Augusta, a number saved only as Chief Obina. Then another message came. This one was from Emeka. Justina, please don't ignore me. My father is moving aggressively. He says you are unstable. He is contacting people. I don't agree with what he is doing. Please let me see you. Justina read it twice and peered over her shoulder. He doesn't agree, but is he stopping it? Justina did not reply. Another message came almost immediately. I know I failed you, but I don't want to lose you completely. Her heart squeezed. Princess Enne was quiet. Justina wished the baby would tell her what to do, but perhaps this was another choice she had to make with her own heart. She typed, then stop sending apologies and start telling the truth. She sent it. No reply came. Anne carried the fabrics to the center of the room and emptied the bags carefully. Okay, Madam Empire, we need business structure. Justina looked at her. Business structure? Yes, we cannot be selling ancestral couture from nylon bag like roadside mango. We need name, pictures, Instagram page, WhatsApp catalog, pricing, delivery plan, and spiritual refund policy. Justina smiled. Spiritual refund policy? Anne nodded seriously. If fabric starts glowing after purchase, customers should not disturb us. They both laughed. But Anne was right. If Justina was going to build something, she had to begin properly. They spent the afternoon sorting the fabrics. Each piece seemed to reveal its beauty only after being touched. There was emerald green with subtle cowrie patterns, cream fabric with golden river lines, purple with tiny bronze circles like old coins, white and coral with patterns shaped like open palms, black with silver dots like night stars over water. Anne used her phone to take pictures near the window. At first, the images looked ordinary. Then, sunlight fell across the fabrics and the patterns came alive. Anne whispered, "My camera is confused. It thinks we are rich." Justina opened the carved box again and studied the small fabric squares inside. Each square matched one larger material. Behind each square was a faded mark. Initials, dates, symbols, and sometimes place names. One label caught her eye. OK Waterfront Parcel, NWWU, Original Hoodie. Justina frowned. OK. Anne looked over. Okorie. Maybe. Another label read, Ezekiel transfer disputed.
NWA K Go ledger required. Justina's heart beat faster. This was more than fabric business. This was evidence. But evidence of what exactly? Anne took a picture of the blue midnight fabric and gasped. Justina.
What? Look. In the phone photo, the gold patterns on the blue fabric had formed faint letters, not visible to the normal eye, only in the image. Come at dusk. Justina's mouth went dry. The old market. The shop that never sells anything. She looked at the cowrie keys. They rattled once on the table. Anne stepped back. I don't like when keys contribute to conversation. Justina touched her belly. Neka, the baby answered.
We go at dusk.
Anne threw her hands up. Of course we do. Why should pregnant women rest when they can be entering haunted fabric shops? Justina smiled faintly, but fear had returned. Before she could respond, a loud knock sounded at Anne's door. 3 sharp knocks. Not Emeka's hesitant knock. This one carried authority. Anne looked at Justina. The knock came again. A male voice called, Madam Justina Okorie? Please open. We are from Mercy Grand Hospital. Anne's eyes widened. They came. Justina's blood went cold. The voice continued. We came with your husband's family representative. We need to speak with you concerning your health and safety.
Another voice followed. Smooth, familiar. Lady Augusta. Justina, my daughter, open the door. We are only here to help you. Anne mouthed, my daughter? Justina stood slowly. Her heart pounded, but her face grew calm. The old fear tried to rise. Then she remembered the glowing document, the signed rejection paper, the 280,000 naira alert, the bride's blessing, the baby inside her. She was no longer a woman standing barefoot behind a study door. She was becoming someone else. Princess Eneka whispered, Do not hide. Let them see the woman they failed to break. Anne picked up the frying spoon. Justina took it gently from her hand and placed it on the table. No, she said softly. This time, we use wisdom. She walked to the door, but did not open it fully. She spoke through the closed door. Dr. Balo, please state your full name and show your official identification to the camera. Silence. Anne quickly opened her phone camera and began recording. Justina continued. Also, please confirm whether you are here with a court order, police warrant, or my written consent. The silence outside became uncomfortable. Then Lady Augusta's voice sharpened. Justina, stop this nonsense and open the door. Justina smiled slightly. There she was, the real woman behind the fake, my daughter. Justina raised her voice. Mommy, since you are here, please tell the camera why your family requested psychiatric evaluation for me less than 24 hours after I refused to abort my baby girl. Someone outside gasped. Anne whispered, Finish her. Lady Augusta hissed, You are recording. Justina replied, Yes. Footsteps shuffled outside. Dr. Bello cleared his throat. Madam, perhaps this is not the right time. Justina said, It is the
perfect time. You sent me a message accusing me of pregnancy-related delusions. Please explain your medical basis. No answer. Justina continued. Or did Chief Obina Okorie ask you to help declare me unstable because I refused to return to his house? The corridor was silent. Then a younger male voice whispered, Doctor, let's go. Lady Augusta snapped. Nobody is going anywhere. Justina leaned closer to the door. Mommy, the same baby girl you rejected yesterday has already made her first profit today. Tell Chief Obina the wealth he fears is awake and it will not answer to intimidation.
Anne covered her mouth. Outside, Lady Augusta became quiet. Very quiet. Then she spoke, low and bitter. You think this is victory? You don't know my husband. Obina does not lose. He destroys. Justina's hand tightened on the door handle. Inside her womb, Princess Nika moved. Justina replied, Then tell him to come with the truth, because lies are becoming expensive. Footsteps retreated, one by one. The hospital people left first. Then Lady Augusta's heels clicked away angrily down the corridor. Anne waited until the staircase door closed before jumping silently in celebration. My friend, you handled her like hot puff-puff. Justina leaned against the door, trembling now that it was over. Courage did not mean fear had disappeared. It meant fear did not get the final vote. Anne hugged her carefully. You did well. Justina breathed deeply. I was scared. Good. Brave people are scared. Stupid people are the ones who don't know danger has entered the room. By evening, Anne uploaded the fabric photos to a new Instagram page and WhatsApp business profile. They debated names. Princess Fabrics, Anne suggested. Justina shook her head. Womb Wealth Couture. Anne, no. Rejected Wife Textiles. Please be serious. Anne sighed. Fine. What does Her Highness want? Justina looked at the midnight blue fabric. The golden calabash patterns shimmered gently. Then the baby whispered.
Nika house.
Justina repeated. Nika house. Anne paused. That is actually beautiful. They created the page. Nika house. Heritage fabrics. Modern grace. By the time they finished, 3 inquiries had already entered. One from Chinwe's cousin, one from a stylist, one from a woman preparing for her mother's 70th birthday. Anne stared at the phone. The algorithm has received anointing. Justina smiled. But the smile faded when the sun began to go down. Dusk approached. The cowrie keys on the table started rattling again. The blue fabric shifted slightly, though no breeze entered the room. Anne swallowed. So we are really going? Justina stood and took the fabric. Yes. She changed into a simple dress, then wrapped the midnight blue fabric around her shoulders like a shawl. The moment it touched her body, the room seemed to dim and brighten at the same time. Anne stared. My friend, you look like a queen they forgot to announce. Justina looked at herself in the small mirror. For the first time in days, she did not see a rejected wife. She saw a woman carrying a story older than pain. They left for the old market just as the sky turned orange.
This time, the market was quieter. Shops were closing. Traders counted money. Boys packed goods onto carts. But the narrow lane to Mama Shade's store was empty. Too empty. No shouting. No footsteps. No smell of food. Only the smell of rain. Justina and Anne walked slowly. At the end of the lane, where Mama Shade's store had been, there was now a wooden door. Old, dark, with no signboard, just like the dream. The cowrie keys grew hot in Justina's hand. Anne whispered, "Justina, I will not lie. My liver has gone to sit down somewhere." Justina placed one key into the lock. Before she turned it, a voice spoke from behind them. "Step away from that door." They turned.
Chief Obinna stood at the entrance of the lane. Beside him were two men in dark suits. Behind them stood Emeka. Justina's heart clenched. Emeka looked ashamed, but he did not look away. Chief Obinna's eyes moved to the blue fabric on Justina's shoulders, and for the first time, his arrogance cracked fully into fear. "Where did you get that?" he whispered. Justina held the key tighter. Princess Nneka spoke from inside her, calm and commanding.
Open the door, Mommy.
Chief Obinna stepped forward. "Justina, I said step away." Anne moved beside Justina. "Chief, with all due respect, nobody invited you to this fabric opening ceremony." One of the men in suits reached into his jacket. Emeka quickly grabbed his arm. "Don't!" Justina looked at Emeka. So he had come. But with them. Again. Her chest tightened, but she turned back to the door. Chief Obinna shouted, "If you open that door, you will regret it." Justina inserted the key fully. The lock clicked by itself. The wooden door swung open. A cold wind rushed out, carrying the smell of rain, palm oil, old coins, and buried truth. Inside the darkness, a woman's voice whispered, "Nwakigo has waited long enough." Then the ground beneath Chief Obinna's feet cracked. The crack beneath Chief Obinna's feet did not open wide enough to swallow him. It only split the ground in a thin, crooked line, running between his expensive Italian shoes like the earth itself was drawing a boundary. Chief Obinna jumped back with a shout. For a man who had spent his life making others tremble, fear looked strange on him. His lips parted. His chest rose and fell. The two men in dark suits beside him stepped away as if the crack might choose another victim. Anne pointed at the ground and shouted, "You see? Even the floor has rejected intimidation." Chief Obinna glared at her. "Keep quiet, you mannerless woman." Anne placed a hand on her chest. "Chief, please respect yourself. This is not your mansion where portraits cry on salary. This is public market." Emeka stood behind his father, his face tight with shame and worry. His eyes kept moving from Justina to the open wooden door. "Justina," he said softly, "please, don't go inside." Justina looked at him. That voice. Once, that voice could calm her. It could make her forgive small offenses, laugh during difficult days, and believe love was enough to survive any storm. But now, every time Emeka said please,
She heard what came after it. Please understand my father. Please calm down. Please wait. Please don't make this difficult. Please come back so the wealth will stop leaving. Her hand tightened around the cowrie keys. Did you come to protect me? She asked. Or to stop me? Emeka swallowed. Chief Obinna answered before he could speak. He came to bring his wife home before she destroys what she does not understand. Justina laughed quietly. Your wife? The words hit Emeka harder than they hit Chief Obinna. Justina lifted her left hand. Her wedding ring was still there. She had forgotten to remove it. Maybe because part of her heart still had not accepted how quickly everything had ended. Slowly, she pulled it off. Emeka's face changed. Justina. She placed the ring on a closed wooden crate beside the door. You people gave me divorce papers yesterday. Don't call me wife today because your bank account started having headache.
Anne nodded. Exactly. Marriage is not umbrella. You cannot throw it away in sunshine and look for it when rain starts. Chief Obinna took another step forward. The crack in the ground widened slightly. He stopped. Justina noticed. So did Anne. Anne smiled. Chief, continue now. The floor wants to discuss with you. One of the men in suits, a tall man with a scar above his eyebrow, spoke low. Sir, maybe we should call the police. Chief Obinna's eyes flashed. Call them. Emeka turned to him. Papa, no, please. This is getting out of hand. It got out of hand when she stole family property, Chief Obinna snapped. Justina's eyes widened. Stole? Chief Obinna pointed at the blue fabric around her shoulders. That cloth belongs to my family. Anne burst out laughing. Your family rejected the woman, rejected the child, rejected the blessing, but accepted the cloth. Wonderful people. Chief Obinna ignored her and faced the suited men. She has stolen ancestral property and is trespassing. Justina felt anger rise inside her, hot and clean. Chief Obinna, yesterday you said I would live with nothing. Today you are following me to market because of fabric and old doors? Which one is nothing again? His mouth tightened.
From inside the open doorway, cold air continued to pour out. The interior was dark, but not empty. Something waited inside. Justina felt it the way one feels rain before it falls. Princess Neka whispered.
Do not argue too long. Lies are coming.
Justina frowned slightly. What lies? Before the baby could answer, footsteps thundered from the main market path. 2 uniformed police officers appeared, followed by Dr. Bello from Mercy Grand Hospital and a young woman holding a folder. Behind them came Lady Augusta, dressed in white lace as if she had attended a prayer meeting and a court case at the same time. Anne whispered, Forecast has arrived. Lady Augusta's eyes went straight to Justina. My daughter, she said loudly, the words sweet enough to poison tea. Please calm down. We are not here to fight you. Justina stared at her. The market traders who had been closing their shops began slowing down. A shoe seller nearby stopped tying his cartons. A woman selling beads leaned forward. 2 young men carrying sacks paused openly. Drama in Lagos market does not need invitation. It gathers its own audience.
Dr. Bello stepped forward, adjusting his glasses. Madam Justina, Good evening. We are concerned about your well-being. Anne scoffed. Doctor, you are concerned all the way from hospital to market? Very mobile compassion. Dr. Bello ignored her. We received credible information that you may be experiencing pregnancy-induced hallucinations, paranoia, and delusions relating to voices, spirits, and imagined inheritance claims. Murmurs passed through the small crowd. Justina felt the words strike her. There it was. The lie had dressed itself in medical grammar. Lady Augusta clasped her hands like a suffering saint. Since yesterday, she has been saying how unborn baby is talking to her. She claims spirits are transferring wealth to her. She ran away from home. She has refused medical help. A trader whispered, "Talking baby." Another said, "This Lagos, anything can happen." Justina's cheeks burned, not with shame, with fury. Anne moved forward, but Justina touched her arm. "No," she said quietly. "Let them finish." Emeka looked distressed. "Mama, stop. This is not the way." Lady Augusta turned sharply. "Then what is the way? Watch your pregnant wife enter strange places with market witches?" Anne raised a finger. "Careful, oh mommy. Market women hear very far." A bead seller nearby said, "Yes, we hear." Lady Augusta pretended not to. Dr. Bello turned to the officers. For her safety and the safety of the unborn child, we recommend she be brought in for evaluation. One officer, a tired-looking man with kind eyes, looked uncomfortable. "Madam, are you Justina Okorie?" Justina answered calmly. "My name is Justina Nwosu." Emeka flinched. The officer nodded. "Your family says you may need medical attention." "My family?" Justina looked at Lady Augusta. "This same family made me sign divorce papers yesterday and formally rejected any claim over my unborn daughter. So please, which family?" The officer frowned. Lady Augusta's face tightened. "She is confused. That is what we are saying." Justina opened her bag and brought out her phone. Anne had already been recording. Justina raised the phone and played the video from the previous day. Lady Augusta at Anne's door, Dr. Bello's evasive silence, Justina asking for the medical basis, Lady Augusta shouting, "Stop this nonsense," and open the door. The surrounding traders leaned closer. Dr. Bello's face changed. Justina stopped the video. Then she opened the message he had sent. "Doctor," she said, "you sent me a psychiatric evaluation message after my in-laws asked you to. When I requested official documentation, you refused to reply. Now you are here with police and the same people who tried to force me to abort my baby girl." The first officer looked at Dr. Bello. "Is that true?" Dr. Bello cleared his throat. The family expressed concern. Medical concern, Justina Cotton. Or inheritance concern. Murmurs grew louder. Anne folded her arms. "Answer with your full chest, doctor." Chief Obina stepped in. "Officer, this woman is unstable. She has stolen property connected to my family trust and is attempting to enter a restricted ancestral site." The officer looked at the old wooden door. Restricted by who? Chief Obina hesitated. The native oldness of the place did not answer to his authority. The door had no signboard, no chain, no police marking, no legal notice. Justina reached into her bag and removed the cowrie keys.
They glowed faintly in her palm. The crowd gasped. Lady Augusta stepped back. The officer stared. "What is that?" Justina replied. "Keys given to me by the caretaker of the truth your complainants have been hiding." Chief Obina barked. "Nonsense!" The ground cracked again. This time, the line ran from his feet toward the police officers, then curved away from them and stopped before Justina. The crowd screamed and scattered backward. Anne grabbed Justina's arm. "My friend, the floor is writing petition." The first officer made the sign of the cross. The second officer, who had been looking bored, suddenly remembered an urgent need to stand behind his colleague. Dr. Billow's folder fell from his hand. Papers scattered. One page landed at Justina's feet. Anne picked it up. Her eyes narrowed. "Ah, see what we have here." Justina looked. It was not a medical referral.
It was a typed statement, already prepared, claiming that Justina had displayed erratic behavior, heard imaginary voices, threatened the Okorie family, and required involuntary psychiatric intervention. At the bottom was a blank space for Dr. Bellow's signature. Anne held it up for the officers to see. "So they brought ready-made madness certificate?" The bead seller shouted. "Hey, rich people can manufacture anything." A shoe seller added, "Even madness." The crowd murmured louder. Dr. Bellow began sweating. "That document is only a draft. It has not been signed." Justina faced him. "But you came here to sign it after seeing me, whether I was well or not." He said nothing. Silence can confess what the mouth fears. Lady Augusta moved toward Justina. "You are embarrassing yourself." Justina turned slowly. "No, Mommy. I am embarrassing your lie." Lady Augusta's face hardened. "You think people will believe you because of market noise? By tomorrow, blogs will carry it. Pregnant woman runs mad after divorce from billionaire family. They will laugh at you. They will say you used charm. They will say you wanted property. They will say poverty entered your head." Justina felt the words. Every one of them. Because Lady Augusta was right about one thing. People loved scandal more than truth. Many would believe the richer family. Many would mock the pregnant woman. Many would say, maybe she pushed them too far. Others would say, a woman should not fight her husband's family. For a moment, fear tried to enter again. Then Princess Neka kicked. Not gently, strongly. Justina placed a hand on her belly. The baby's voice filled her, calm as deep water.
"Let them call you mad. Every woman who carries tomorrow is first mocked by yesterday."
Justina lifted her head. She looked at the crowd, at the police, at the doctor, at her in-laws, at Emeka. Then she spoke. "My name is Justina Nwosu. I am pregnant with a baby girl. Yesterday, my husband's family asked me to abort her or sign divorce papers because they believe a female child will cost them their wealth. I refused. Today, they tried to declare me mentally unstable." The crowd went still. Justina continued, voice stronger. "Maybe some of you will call me mad. Maybe some of you will believe them. But I know what I heard. I know what I signed. I know what they said. And I know this. Any family that fears a daughter more than wickedness has already lost its way." The old wooden door behind her creaked wider. A golden light glowed faintly inside. The crowd saw it. The police saw it. Dr. Bellow saw it.
Chief Obina saw it. His face changed from anger to panic. "Stop her!" he shouted. But nobody moved. Anne stood beside Justina, chin raised. "Touch her and see if your village network will still connect." Justina stepped toward the door. Emeka moved forward. "Justina, wait!" She paused but did not turn. His voice broke. "I did not sign that medical paper, I swear. I came because I knew what they were planning. I came to stop it." Slowly, Justina turned. "Then why were you standing behind your father?" The question entered him like judgment. He looked at the ground. "I don't know how to stand anywhere else." For the first time, he said the truth plainly. It hurt, but at least it was truth. Justina's voice softened, not with forgiveness yet, but with tired understanding. Emeka's eyes filled. Chief Obina snapped, "Emeka, stop this nonsense." Emeka turned toward him. Something changed in his face. Small, but real. "No, Papa." The market quieted.
Chief Obina stared. "What?" Emeka's voice shook, but he continued. "No, I will not help you call her mad. I will not help you drag her to hospital. I failed her yesterday. I won't do it again today." Lady Augusta gasped. "Emeka!" Chief Obina looked at his son as if betrayal had finally entered the room, wearing his own blood. "You choose her?" Emeka looked at Justina, then at her belly, then back at his father. "I choose the truth." The words hung there. Not perfect, not enough to repair what had broken, but enough to begin something. Justina did not smile. Princess Eneka did not speak. The moment belonged to Emeka, and it was long overdue. Chief Obina's face twisted. "Then you are no son of mine." Emeka swallowed, but this time he did not bow his head. "So be it," and whispered, "Progress. Small, but I accept." The first police officer cleared his throat and faced Dr. Bello. "Doctor, unless you have a court order, we are not forcing this woman anywhere." Dr. Bello quickly bent to gather his papers. "No, officer, no court order." The officer turned to Lady Augusta. "Madam, this is a family matter. Don't involve police without proper legal basis." Lady Augusta looked humiliated. The traders began whispering, and this time the whispers were not against Justina. They were against the rich family. Imagine, they wanted to remove baby girl. God forbid. Money people and their secrets. Chief Obina saw control slipping away. He turned to the men in suits. "Get that fabric." The man with the scar moved quickly towards Justina. He reached for the midnight blue cloth on her shoulders. Before his fingers touched it, the open doorway released a burst of cold wind. The man flew backwards and landed on a pile of empty cartons. The crowd screamed. Anne screamed too, then quickly recovered. That one was not me." The blue fabric lifted slightly around Justina like a living thing. From inside the doorway, the woman's voice came again, deeper this time. "Nwakigo has waited long enough." Mama Shade appeared in the golden darkness. Not outside, inside the shop.
She stood beyond the threshold, holding a lantern that burned with blue flame, and grabbed Justina's hand. This woman needs to stop appearing and disappearing like network problem. Mama Shade looked at Justina. Come, the ledger will open only for the rejected womb. Chief Obina staggered forward. No, that ledger belongs to my family.
Mama Shade's eyes hardened. No, Obina. That ledger is the reason your family ever had anything to belong to. Justina took one step into the doorway. The air changed. The noise of the market faded behind her as if someone had lowered the volume of the world. Anne followed immediately. I am coming too. Nobody should tell me later that I missed evidence. Mama Shade smiled faintly. Loyal mouth. Enter. Emeka stood outside, uncertain. Justina looked back. Their eyes met. This time, she did not invite him. She did not reject him. She only waited to see what he would choose without being dragged. Emeka looked at his father. Chief Obina's eyes warned him. Lady Augusta's face pleaded. Then, Emeka stepped toward the door. Chief Obina shouted, Emeka! Emeka did not stop. He entered behind Justina. The golden light swallowed them. The door slammed shut. Outside, Chief Obina rushed forward and pounded on it. Open this door! No answer. He turned to the police, the doctor, the traders, his wife, everyone. But nobody obeyed him. For the first time in many years, Chief Obina stood in a crowd and discovered that money could not command a door that answered to truth. Inside the shop, Justina found herself standing in a room much larger than the outside could possibly contain. Rows of shelves stretched into shadow. Old fabrics hung from the ceiling like sleeping flags. Clay pots lined the walls. Wooden boxes were stacked beside brass scales. The air smelled of rain, palm oil, old paper, and something sweet like ripe mango. At the center of the room sat a large wooden table. On it lay a book, huge, dark, bound in faded leather. The moment Justina saw it, the baby in her womb became still. Mama Shade walked to the table and placed the blue lantern beside the book. The first ledger of the Neka Women's Wealth Union, she said. Every contribution, every land, every betrayal, every name. Anne stared. So, this book can scatter mansion. Mama Shade looked at her. This book can scatter lives. Justina approached slowly. The cowrie keys rattled in her hand. Emeka stood behind her, breathing as if he had run a long distance. Justina placed one key into a small lock on the ledger. It turned by itself. The book opened. Pages flipped rapidly, faster and faster, until they stopped on one page. At the top was a name written in bold ink. Nwakigu Nosu, custodian of the women's wealth. Justina gasped. Nwosu. Anne looked at her. That is your maiden name. Justina's hands began to tremble. Mama Shade nodded slowly. Yes, my daughter, Emeka whispered. What does this mean? Mama Shade looked at Justina with sorrow and pride. It means Inwake Go,
was not only the woman your husband's family betrayed. Justina's eyes filled. Mama Shade touched the page gently. She was your blood. The room spun. Justina gripped the edge of the table. Her whole life seemed to tilt. The rejected woman buried in the Okorie family's past was not a stranger. She was her ancestor. The baby inside her spoke softly, only to her now.
Mommy, I did not choose your womb by accident.
Justina looked down at the glowing page. A tear fell from her eye onto the ledger. The ink shifted. A new line appeared beneath Nwakego's name. Justina Nwosu, returned custodian. Anne covered her mouth. Emeka whispered, Justina. But Justina could not speak because the next page turned by itself. And there, drawn in faded ink, was a map of the Okorie mansion. Beneath the study, under the floor where the statue stood, one place was marked with a red symbol. Mama Shade's voice dropped. That is where they buried the final proof. Justina's blood turned cold. Anne leaned closer. Proof of what? Mama Shade looked at her, then at Justina, then at Emeka. The night Nwakigo disappeared, she did not leave the Okorie house alive. The blue lantern flickered. Justina's hand flew to her belly. And from somewhere behind the shelves, a woman began to cry. The crying came from behind the shelves, soft at first, then deeper, then so painful that even Anne, who always had something to say before trouble finished introducing itself, became quiet. Justina stood frozen beside the old ledger, one hand gripping the wooden table, the other resting protectively over her belly. The room felt colder now. The lantern's blue flame bent toward the shelves as if the sorrow itself had become wind. Emeka looked pale. What is that? He whispered. Mama Shade did not answer immediately. She only closed her eyes, as though the sound was not new to her, as though she had heard that same crying for years and had learned to carry it without breaking. That, she said finally, is what happens when truth is buried but not allowed to rest. And swallowed. Mama, please speak plain English. Is it spirit, memory, or evidence? Mama Shade looked at her. All three. Justina's heart pounded against her ribs. The ledger remained open before her. The name Nwakigo Nwosu stared back from the old page like a hand reaching across generations. The woman betrayed by the Okorie family had not only been Princess Eneka's first mother. She was Justina's blood. Justina's ancestor. The thought entered her slowly, then all at once. All those years, she had married into the Okorie family thinking she was a stranger entering wealth. But her bloodline had helped create that wealth. Her ancestor had been used, betrayed, erased, and buried beneath a legacy that carried another family's name. Her knees weakened. Emeka reached for her. Justina. She stepped away before he touched her. He stopped. Pain crossed his face, but he accepted it. Good, Justina thought. Let him learn distance. Let him learn that when protection comes too late, it cannot demand closeness. The baby inside her moved gently. Princess Nika whispered,
Mommy, do not break here. This room is not the end. It is only the door.
Justina inhaled shakily. Anne came closer, her voice unusually soft. My friend, sit down small. Justina shook her head. No, I need to know. Mama Shade nodded, as if she had expected that answer. She walked toward the shelves. The crying grew louder with each step. Justina followed, the blue fabric around her shoulders trailing softly like royal cloth. Anne followed too, holding her phone in one hand and, somehow, the frying spoon in the other.
Justina stared at it. Anne, how did you bring that? Anne whispered. When fear is moving, my hand knows where to go. Even in the middle of terror, Justina almost smiled. Emeka followed last, looking behind him as if the shadows might call his name. The shelves parted into a narrow passage. At the end stood a tall wooden mirror covered with red cloth. Mama Shade stopped before it. This mirror, she said, was used by the Women's Union to keep record of memory. Not just paper, not just ink. Memory. What men deny, the mirror remembers. Anne whispered, I don't like mirrors that do office work. Mama Shade pulled the red cloth away. The mirror underneath was dark. Not dusty. Dark. Like deep water at night. For a moment, Justina saw only her reflection. Tired eyes. Swollen belly. Blue fabric. Courage fighting fear on her face. Then the mirror rippled. The crying stopped. And the past opened. A young woman appeared in the mirror. Beautiful. Pregnant. Dressed in a simple wrapper with beads around her neck. Her face looked like the old photograph in the carved box, but alive now. Her eyes were proud, wounded, and afraid. Nwakego. Justina's breath caught. The mirror showed an old sitting room. Not the modern Okorie mansion as it was now, but an earlier version of it. Smaller, darker, less polished. Young Ezekiel Okorie stood near a wooden cabinet, restless and angry. Beside him stood a younger Chief Obina, maybe in his late 20s, proud even then, with the same hard jaw and ambitious eyes. A younger Lady Augusta stood near the door. Justina gasped. She was there. Emeka stepped forward, horrified. My mother? Mama Shade's face hardened. Watch. In the mirror, Nwakego held her belly with one hand and a bundle of documents with the other. Ezekiel, she pleaded. These lands were bought by the Women's Union. You know this. I trusted you to register them properly, not steal them. Young Ezekiel looked away. Nwakego turned to young Obina. You know the truth. Your father used my records, my money, my name, my women. And now because I carry a daughter, you call me dangerous? Young Obina's face twisted. You are dangerous. Women like you are never satisfied. You give help today. Tomorrow you want to sit above men. Nwakego's eyes filled. I wanted partnership. I wanted honor. I wanted the promise he made. Lady Augusta stepped forward, voice cold. Promises change. Nwakego looked at her. A woman who helps a man betray another woman is only preparing her own sorrow. The younger Lady Augusta slapped her. Justina flinched as if she had felt it herself. Emeka whispered, No. Anne's face hardened.
yes. Watch your people well. The mirror darkened slightly, then cleared again. The scene changed. Nwakiko was running through a corridor, clutching her belly. Rain beat against the windows. She held the same cowrie keys Justina now carried. Behind her, men shouted. Young Obina's voice rang out. "Stop her! She must not reach the study!" Nwakiko pushed open a door and entered what Justina recognized as Chief Obina's private study. There, on a table, stood the statue of Princess Eneka, eyes closed, calabash in hand. Nwakiko rushed to it. "If they bury me," she whispered, "let the daughter return." The statue's closed eyes glowed faintly. The door burst open. Young Obina entered with 2 men. Lady Augusta stood behind them, shaking now. Fear had replaced her pride. Nwakiko turned. "Obina, don't do this. The child I carry is innocent." Young Obina's face was hard, but something flickered in his eyes. Fear, not mercy. Fear. "If she is born," he said, "everything will leave us."
Nwakiko shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "No, that is the lie your father told you. Wealth will not leave because a daughter is born. Wealth will leave because you reject her." But young Obina was already too deep inside the lie to hear truth. The mirror suddenly blurred. Justina heard shouting, a struggle, thunder, a scream cut short. Then silence. When the image cleared again, Nwakiko lay still on the study floor. Lady Augusta covered her mouth, sobbing. Young Obina stared at the body, trembling. One of the men whispered, "What do we do?" Young Obina turned toward the statue. Its eyes had opened. He staggered back. Then Ezekiel entered the room. Old, powerful, cold. He looked at Nwakiko's body, then at his son, then at the statue. His voice came like stone. "Bury the truth under the house. Hide the documents. Change the story. From today, the family must believe a girl child will destroy us. Fear will protect what guilt cannot." The mirror went black. Justina stumbled backward. Anne caught her. Emeka stood motionless, tears sliding down his face. "My father," he whispered. "My mother. They knew." Mama Shade covered the mirror again. The room felt too quiet after the memory ended. Justina could barely breathe. So they murdered her. Mama Shade's face was full of sorrow. Whether by their own hands or through the violence they ordered, they ended her life. Then they buried her beneath the foundation of the wealth they stole. Justina's stomach tightened painfully. Princess Eneka moved gently, calming her. Anne was crying now, but angry tears. And these people had the mouth to call Justina mad? Mama Shadi turned back toward the table. Now you understand why the fortune is leaving. Wealth built on buried women cannot survive the return of a rejected daughter. A sudden vibration filled the room. Justina's phone buzzed.
then Anne's, then Emeka's, all at once. Anne looked at her screen first. Hey! Justina checked hers. Messages were pouring in. News alerts, screenshots, social media posts. A video had gone viral. The market confrontation. Lady Augusta saying Justina was unstable. Justina responding calmly and holding the unsigned psychiatric document. The glowing keys. The ground cracking. The doorway opening. Someone had recorded everything. The caption on one post read, "Billionaire family accused of trying to declare pregnant woman mad after she refused to abort baby girl." Another, "Okorie family market drama. What is really happening to their wealth?" Another, "Pregnant woman says in-laws rejected her female child. Crowd witnesses strange event." Anne looked up slowly. The internet has entered the matter. Emeka checked his phone and went pale. "What?" Justina asked. He swallowed. "The company's shares in 2 private ventures have been frozen pending trustee review. Our major investors are asking questions. Papa's bank has suspended credit lines." Mama Shade nodded. The fortune has started walking away. Anne blinked. "Walking? Mama, it is running with luggage." Emeka's phone rang. The screen showed Papa. He stared at it. For once, he did not answer immediately. Justina watched him. This was another test. Not a grand speech, not a dramatic confrontation. A ringing phone and a choice. Emeka let it ring. It stopped. Then a message came. His face tightened as he read it. Anne peeped shamelessly. What did Pharaoh see? Emeka looked at Justina. He says if I don't bring you back and retrieve the ledger, I should consider myself disowned permanently. Justina's expression did not change. "And what will you do?" Emeka closed his eyes. When he opened them, the fear was still there. But this time, it was not driving. "I am not going back to him," he said. Anne raised an eyebrow. "Words are good. Actions are better. We are watching season 2. Emeka nodded slowly. "You should." Then he looked at Justina. "I know I don't deserve your trust, I know that. But I want to help expose the truth. Not to win you back. Not to save the money. Because what I saw..." His voice broke. "What I saw my family do to Wankego, I cannot carry that lie anymore." Justina studied him. She wanted to believe him, but belief had become expensive. Princess Ineka whispered,
Let him walk. Do not carry him.
Justina understood. She said quietly, "Then walk with truth. But don't lean on me." Emeka nodded. Mama Shade returned to the ledger and placed both hands on it. The map shows the final proof beneath the Okorie study. But now that Obina knows you have opened the ledger, he will move before you return. Anne snapped her fingers. "Then we move faster." Justina looked at her. "To the mansion?" Anne hesitated. "I said faster, not foolish. But yes, maybe foolish is on the route." Mama Shadi shook her head. "Not yet." If you go now, he will be waiting with police, lawyers, and locked gates. Then what do we do? Justina asked. Mama Shade opened another page of the ledger. A property list appeared. Names, addresses, old ownership marks. One address glowed brighter than the others.
Necker House. Justina frowned. Anne's eyes widened. That is the business name. Mama Shade smiled faintly. Not coincidence. Memory. The address was in an old part of Lagos Island. Mama Shade continued. That storehouse was sealed after Nwakigo disappeared. The Okories never found it because it was not listed under their name. It was held in trust for the female custodian of the Nwosu line. Justina's lips parted. Me. Yes, Mama Shade said. Inside are records, fabrics, ledgers, and items that can prove the origin of the wealth. But more than that, it is a beginning, a real place, a business foundation. Anne held her chest. So Ineka House has an actual house? Yes. Anne turned to Justina. My friend, do you know what this means? We have moved from Instagram vendor to heritage brand owner in one day. Justina almost laughed, but the weight of everything held her still. A storehouse, a business, evidence, an inheritance through her own bloodline. For the first time, the fortune was not just leaving the Okories, it was finding her. Outside the shop, a loud banging began. Chief Obina's voice came through the door, furious. Justina, open this door now!
Mama Shade looked toward the entrance. He cannot enter unless the custodian permits. And smiled. Good. Let him practice patience outside. But then another voice came. Lady Augusta. Not shouting this time. Crying. Justina, please. Emeka, please open the door. Your father is not well. Emeka stiffened. Justina looked at him. The door did not open, but the shop wall shimmered like water, showing the outside lane. Chief Obina was on his knees. His hands clutched his chest. Lady Augusta knelt beside him, panicking. The police officers looked confused. Dr. Bello was checking his pulse. Emeka rushed toward the vision. Papa! Mama Shade raised the hand. Careful. Some sickness is body. Some sickness is consequence. Emeka turned, torn apart. That is still my father. Justina saw the pain in him. For all Chief Obina had done, he was still Emeka's father. Love and truth were not clean enemies. Sometimes they dragged a person in opposite directions until something tore. Princess Nneka whispered.
He may go, but the ledger stays.
Justina looked at Emeka. Go if you need to, but do not give him anything from here. Emeka nodded, breathing hard. I won't.
Mama Shade touched the ledger. It closed by itself and shrank before their eyes into a smaller leather-bound book, still old, but now small enough to fit in Justina's bag. Anne stumbled backward. Mama, warn somebody before book does slimming tea. Justina placed the ledger carefully into her bag with the carved box and keys. Mama Shade handed her a folded paper. The address of Nneka House. Go there before midnight.
before midnight? Yes. When stolen wealth begins to leave, thieves become desperate. The shop door opened. Noise rushed back in. Emeka ran out first toward his father. Justina followed with Anne. Chief Obina lay against Lady Augusta's lap, sweating heavily but conscious. His eyes fixed immediately on Justina's bag. Even in weakness, greed recognized where its fear lived. "Give me the book," he rasped. Lady Augusta cried, "Obina, please rest." He pushed her hand away. "Give me the book." Emeka knelt beside him. "Papa, stop. You need a hospital." Chief Obina grabbed his shirt. "She is taking everything." Emeka's voice broke. "No, Papa. You already took what was not yours." Chief Obina stared at him. That sentence wounded him more than any illness. Lady Augusta looked at Emeka in disbelief. "How can you say that to your father?"
Emeka turned to her, tears in his eyes. "Because I saw it, Mama. I saw what happened to Nwakigo." Lady Augusta froze. Her face collapsed in a way Justina had not expected. Not anger, not denial, raw fear. "You saw?" Emeka whispered. "Yes." Lady Augusta began shaking her head. "I was young. I didn't know it would go that far. I didn't know." Chief Obina grabbed her wrist. "Shut up." The crowd murmured. Justina stared at Lady Augusta. There it was. A crack in the lie. Not full confession, but enough to show guilt had a voice. Anne, still recording, whispered, "Let the record show that Madame has started remembering." Chief Obina saw the phone and lunged weakly toward her. "Stop recording." Anne stepped back. "Chief, face your blood pressure." The police officer moved between them. "Enough. Chief, you need medical attention." Dr. Bello looked eager to be useful again. "We should take him in." Chief Obina, still breathing hard, pointed at Justina. "This is not over." Justina met his eyes. For the first time, she did not feel small before him. "No," she said quietly. "It is not." Her phone buzzed again. Another alert. A message from an unknown email. Subject: Eneka House Trust. Custodian activation notice. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The message was brief. "Dear Miss Justina Nwosu, based on the activation of the ancestral trust conditions and verified lineage records, you are hereby invited to appear at Eneka House before midnight to receive custody of assets held under the Women's Wealth Union Trust." Attached was the same address Mama Shadi had given her. Anne read it and whispered, "My friend, your ancestors have email." Justina could not even laugh. The world felt too large, too fast, too impossible. But the baby inside her moved with calm certainty. Princess Eneka whispered,
Mommy, our house is waiting.
Justina looked at Anne. Anne nodded.
Then we go. Emeka stood slowly. His father was being helped toward a car by the police and Dr. Bello. Lady Augusta looked back at Justina, eyes wet, mouth trembling with words she was not yet brave enough to speak. Emeka turned to Justina. I need to go with him to the hospital. But after that, I will come. Justina nodded once. No promise. No comfort. Just acknowledgement. That was all she could give. As Chief Obina was carried away, his phone fell from his pocket and hit the ground near Justina's feet. The screen lit up.
A message from Barrister Kalu was visible. Chief, urgent. The trustees found the old ownership discrepancies. If Justina Nwosu appears at Nneka House tonight, control may legally shift beyond recovery. Stop her before midnight. Justina picked up the phone and read it. Then she handed it to Anne. Anne's eyes widened. My friend, she said, we need to leave now. Justina looked toward the darkening sky. The sun had almost disappeared. Midnight was coming. Behind them, the wooden door of the old shop began to fade, becoming shadow, then wall, then nothing. Mama Shadi stood in the doorway until only her face remained visible. Remember, she said, wealth will test your heart before it fills your hands. Then she vanished. The market lights flickered on. Justina stood in the lane, carrying the ledger, the keys, the fabrics, and the weight of generations. And grabbed her arm. No more standing like film poster. Move! They rushed toward the road. But across the street, two black SUVs started their engines. Their headlights came on at the same time and stopped. Please tell me those are not for us. Justina's belly tightened. Princess Nneka whispered,
They are.
Child of the hidden crown, they tried to bury your name in the ground. Oh, heaven has spoken today. What belongs to you, no hand can take.